if legal, the minimum wages is always 1,100 ringgit.
I would like to ask you, if people, refugees in the camps, develop self-administration forms of self-administration or whatever, because when people have to stay for a very long time in camps, not only for years but even for decades, so they have, of course, to invent new forms of life. They do not just stay there. So it's a way of surviving. They need it for surviving. And in France, some people who are working ethnography have been working on the camps in Africa, huge camps in Central Africa, from that angle, that is going to the camps, staying in the camps, and looking at the way people invent new forms of life, hierarchies, tricks, black business, of course, all these things. So what about
stealing
this?
Cigarette and selling cigarette and drugs?
And you know that because for the camp in Thailand, it's quite quite far from the city, the remote area, and you know that and also the Ministry of Interior and Ministry of Defense keep an eye on them all the time, so not allow them to do, because they're concerned about the national security. Even on the the migrant or the day for the migrant, you know, the migration for the migrant day, they also not allowed to gathering together. They keep an eye for those group all the time. They cannot, you know, the gathering just only. That's why I mentioned that even the NGO can help just only the issues related to health only, or for the to improve some living condition, but it's quite hard to establish some kind of thing that in the camp. Yeah, so
it means that there's no gathering.
The gathering just only when the UNHCR came for the registration, and also they maybe have some small land to grow the vegetable together, and just
no meeting among themselves.
Yeah.
To discuss about revolt.
Yeah. Because you know that
I'm just
living together. Teasing, but I believe there will be a power structures. Strongmen and the more Vietnam people, and there's some sort of a circulation of goods or different forms.
Structures.
Sure, double power structures. But if there's no gathering, so it's like in martial law period or any emergency.
Something else. You said that the people, the refugees, built the houses themselves.
Yes,
but the houses look all
very irregular.
All alike. If people buy their houses by themselves, it looks like a shanty town. It doesn't look like that.
Right.
So there is something which is a bit problematic for me. So basically, who is that? The Thai government, the United Nations? Who? It's not. So it's too homogeneous. Or people coming and saying, "Oh, what is available? Bamboo, blah," and I do mine. No, they look all alike. So there's something like a
if those are the tents, then it's by UN, right? If
there
those are bamboo pots,
like
then
and norms and
they
patterns.
need scales to do.
Yeah.
But I can see.
Well, you just mentioned about they have the leader in the camp. Yeah. So what's the leader? How they formed and how they function? And another one you also mentioned about the case in Lumpia. They have they have the fight. So maybe it would be some kind of example we can analyze the force inside, or how they get different kind of group, and even I suppose I just mentioned, is that some kind of another new kind of force or something? Yeah.
And you mean I mean that when I say that the camp leader is that their duty is that just to communicate with the official only. It's not for other things. Like, and also being the interpreter sometimes. That is the way they can do. They cannot conduct any kind of activities if they not get the permission from the Ministry of Interior. They have to get the permission from the Ministry of Interior, because the head of the district office will allow them to do what kind of thing that they can do or cannot do.
Something else, if it's always interesting to go comparative.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm listening to what you say, both of you, and I'm trying to compare with, let's say, what the culture and the strategy of the state is in Western Europe on such issues, refugees, migrant workers, legal or illegal. My impression is that there is a big difference, very big difference, because I would say the first move or the first gesture of the administration, of the state, of the government concerning these issues always is to make a divide between what? Between those who, and I use the terms which are the official terms, those who have a vocation to stay, and those who have a vocation to be thrown out, expelled. This is the first thing they are thinking about and they are obsessed by. So let's share, let's make the divide. And once it has been done, okay, they cannot rule it completely, because many of those who are supposed to be expelled, they cannot catch them, so they are here in spite of all. But the big difference for me is that concerning those who are said to have a vocation to stay, for many reasons, because they have been acknowledged as real refugees, for example, things like that, or because they came for family reasons. They already have relatives in the country. So those will have to be integrated. So what you're saying about the schools, for example, is unthinkable in countries like France, Germany, Belgium, Italy, that children go to, migrant children from migrant families, refugees, go to special schools. Never. They have to go to public schools with the others and to learn the language so that they can be integrated. And some would say, we have a big debate on that, assimilated. But let's say, well, the mantra is more integration. Integration. So it's very different from what you're describing, because the state, in your condition, the state, okay, wants to manage to rule so that it's not too problematic in the relation between these categories of people and the local people. But people can stay forever, and there is no horizon of integration. So what you say, for example, they are not allowed to marry local Malaysian women.
Nationality.
This is something for us, even if the conditions are constantly degrading. The conditions of the integration of migrants are constantly degrading in our country, but on such an issue, saying, no, you cannot marry a French girl, so no. They are, okay, watching if the marriages are not fake, because it can happen that they are fake, but on the principle, forbidding, this is impossible in the, let's say, in the conditions of European culture, because it's purely Nazism. The Nazi did that, but we cannot do it anymore, of course. The blood, because it's a matter of the purity of the blood. No, it's over.
It's here in Taiwan too.
Yeah.
No mixed blood.
No, it's a very sensitive issue for us.
No.
So
Not that. I mean, migrant workers. If they are not. But,
so this is something, just to finish on that, this is something we should think about. The big differences in terms of state culture and strategies in the way they rule over migrant issues, refugee issues. I mean, what I mean is that the issue, democracy or not democracy, is not what matters. Yeah.
But you are talking about only certain nations, for example, France or Germany. But in Greece or Italy or other places, there will be still a huge detention center, refugee camps.
No, these detentions that we have, but for expelling the people. This is where people are put before they are expelled.
Yeah, right. It's but for a short period of time. But for those people here, they cannot be sent to the third country, so they stay and stay and stay for 30 years, right? But also there are huge refugee camps, right? The population would
do you mean in Greece?
Yeah, right. And other places, some border area.
On some islands.
Yeah, right.
Close to Turkey.
Right.
Let's go. We were in Lesbos. Lesbos, beautiful name, horrible place.
Yeah, and other border area. Yeah, a lot of there's something else occurred to me.
Maybe I just
go ahead.
to Professor. The mindset or the logic behind Malaysian migrant policy is that they just want their labor force. They doesn't see them as a person. So there's a rule regarding their marriages and also integrations and assimilations. But we have to look far further that the South Asia as a region is been a region that have frequent mobility within different ethnic groups. My grandparents are from China, just to say. There are Indians who come from many places in India, Mumbai, Sri Lanka, and even the so-called Malays actually just umbrella term for many of the ethnic groups. So that in Malaysia, ethnic relationship can be very complex as well. But in terms that after the Malaysia or Malaya been gained independence, we form out their own nation state, so that it began to starting to enforcing the divisions of people, like you just said. But because there are so many ethnicity in Malaysia that not necessarily to be Aboriginal, Malaysia do have Aboriginal people, so that they always have this kind of like chain migrations happening even till now. But the thing is that the nations have to really differentiate, try to differentiate who are foreigner, who are the so-called local. It's always have this kind of difficulty that they cannot really differentiate clearly. Like how, like if a Malay married an Indonesian, they still actually have this kind of like tie in together. But in terms of foreign worker policy, the mindset is always they try to extract the labor value, that's all. But 10 years in Malaysia is a long time. Many things can happen, and you cannot stop love. If things happen and there are children, this is a part that not really people talking about. I don't know whether I will look into it or not, but because my focus is all more on the recruitment agents and also their way to recruit. But this is also the part that not so many people talk about and criminally underrated, criminally not being researched. So this is what I can say to your comment just now.
I think that because in Thailand, actually they try to establish the term Thainess, and try that is they think about the Thainess and the Athens. I think it's actually that if we look at the history, who are Thai. They're not the real Thai because
But that's the same for
Yeah.
all of us,
Yeah.
all the world.
but try to claim that this is the Thainess. And I asked them, what is the Thainess? What do you mean the Thainess?
Or Malay,
Or
or Chinese,
Chinese.
or Chinese.
And you know that you said that the one who talking about the Chinese, I know that that person, he has the Chinese ancestor, how become the Chinese, and you know that this one they try to put this concept for the Thai and think about the other people as the stranger and the alienates in the society. As I mentioned that at the earlier of the at 1995, that is the big announcement that is a very serious thing that is written. Stop that kind of announcement. That is the xenophobia.
Let me ask the two of you, maybe first, you mentioned last time the different color cards, right? But now you abolish it, but you still use a digital number to differentiate.
Yeah.
So what is the real difference between this color card and this numeral coding system?
The price.
Huh?
The price of it.
But anyway, because you know, they differentiate people, right? So
Yeah.
that may affect their access to certain, I don't know, category of work or job or exit and entry, because some people are maybe forbidden to move outside of the province or to north or from the south, or because that's decided by their origin, so-called blood, or religion, Buddhism and other things. And then also Malaysia. I know in Myanmar, they also have very clear color card. They practice the same thing.